everybody, welcome back to a new video. I don't know whether it's Wednesday or Sunday, but you know, it's one of the days of the week. In today's video, we're going to be ranking all the different A-Troupes that have ever been on the next step. And I have just actually filmed this video. I got 16 minutes recorded of it, and then I was like, I don't agree with what I'm saying, so I've just reordered all my A-Troupes again. So this time, I should be okay with the decisions. Let's get started. So I'm ranking each A-Troupe based on their chemistry, their talent and their versatility.
Chemistry doesn't necessarily mean just how well they got on. I'm going to be looking at it in a sense of that, but also how natural the relationships seem and how much the characters interact with each other.
And then how talented they are, so how good is their dancing. And versatility is how many different styles can they do as a troupe. Yeah, pretty straightforward, but it's very objective. So basically the top position or the last position A-Troupe isn't necessarily my opinion. It's not my favourites, it's literally which one is the best. So in bottom position we have an A-Troupe that is an overall 23 out of 30 marks, and that is season 4. This literally isn't anything to do with my opinion. I know that I say I hate season 4 a lot. I did actually rate season 4 a lot higher than this, and that's the one that I've changed my mind on because I was saying things and I was like, that's not true, is it? So let me explain why they've lost marks. First off, they have a 6 out of 10 score for chemistry. I feel like this season was very cliquey. You know, people stuck with their individual friends rather than the whole troupe blending as a family. There was also quite a lot of drama this season, a lot of fallouts. Just, it wasn't a family, and it didn't feel very warm either. That's an overall thing for season 4. It feels very cold. But where they've brought their score back is in the talent area, and I've actually rated them a 10 out of 10. I feel like every single person that was on the team was a strong dancer in their chosen style. And finally, versatility, I've rated them a 7 out of 10, and I had rated this 10 out of 10 previously, and then I was saying things and I was like, that's not true. Overall, the team was quite versatile. We saw them do lots of different styles, but there are dancers that can only do their specific style. We got that a lot from Sloane, LaTroy, and Henry didn't really moan about it, but I could see Henry only being able to do hip hop as well this season. So yeah, those three are why 3 marks has been taken off, because they can pretty much just only do their own style. Very minorly overtaking them with a score of 24 out of 30, we have season 5. So first off, I've taken 2 marks off their chemistry score, because even though everyone seemed to mix pretty well and significantly better than season 5, there was obviously the rift at the beginning of the season where the two troupes were against each other, and this did cause a little bit of drama. Not everyone was pretty close, and yeah, I can't give them 10 out of 10 when they were literally 2 different teams and didn't speak to each other. We did have pretty strong friendships and relationships formed though this season, which is why it kind of pulls it back a little bit and compensates for that. Like we had Josh and Piper, Rochelle and Lola, Lola and Kingston. Yeah, there was an equal amount of them falling out and being against each other, but also coming together. Then we have the talent score, and this is also 8 out of 10. I feel like everyone was pretty talented this season, and the only reason I've marked it down is because there were a couple of weaker links. Josh, Ozzy, I feel like they weren't as strong, and they didn't dance as confidently, and they weren't as well-rounded, which brings me to the final category. So in terms of versatility, I've also given season 5 8 out of 10, because obviously at the beginning everyone stuck to their separate troupes, so we had contemporary and hip-hop, but ultimately the dancers by the end were doing both styles. There's just some people that I feel like weren't as good at both styles. So LaTroy, for example, wouldn't have been able to do the contemporary dance very well. Not that LaTroy is terrible, I think LaTroy is an amazing dancer, but you know, in contemporary he's not the best. So yeah, overall 24 out of 30 for season 5. So then we have season 7, and I've rated them an 8 out of 10 for their chemistry, because although they do all talk to each other, but there has been so much drama and like falling out, and just people were saying really petty things to each other. I can't give them a 10 out of 10.
I also think that they've definitely lost some of their chemistry from season 6, and I think that's because some of our favourite characters left. There's a completely different vibe in my opinion when it comes to everyone interacting, and it doesn't seem like they have as much fun with each other as they used to. It just feels a lot more forced. Then I've given them a 9 out of 10 for their talent, because I do feel like everyone is very much very talented in season 7, but we're not seeing everybody dance. I don't know, it's really weird. Like I've said before, it feels like we've seen no dances whatsoever. Like none of them have been memorable in my mind, and we haven't really seen anyone do
I don't know. I'm just not happy with the dancers that have been in season 7. I think the only ones that I've really enjoyed are Rochelle's President solo and Piper's Parallel World solo. I think those two have been the standout ones and literally no others.
I didn't even really enjoy Tell the Story, which was their opening dance of season 7, and I love that song. Usually the opening dance really hypes up the season, but this time it was just like they all did solos and nothing was choreographed. Usually they have a unison section and dance in little groups, and even the part at the end wasn't exactly hard choreography. Overall for season 7, yeah, there's just not been many moments where I've been in awe of the dancers. And obviously I know we're only halfway through season 7, but I feel like by this point I should have been impressed by now, and honestly I haven't been. Hopefully season 7B will be a bit more impressive, but until then I'm rating them where they are. And finally, for versatility, I've given them a 9 out of 10 as well, because they are all very talented dancers, and you know, those talking heads are proving that they're all different dancers of different styles. Don't feel like they're 100% versatile as a troupe. There's just a funny feeling I have about season 7 that it's not the A-Troupe that I want it to be, that I know it could be. Next up we have season 1 with a score of 26 out of 30.
So season 1 has actually got a 10 out of 10 score for their chemistry, because I feel like this was the best season for chemistry. You know, everyone on the team spoke to each other. It was a very much a family environment. Everyone had each other's backs, and even though they did fall out, they did come back together. We didn't have that many relationships form in terms of like romantic. Obviously there was Michelle and Eldon and Emily, but other than, oh, and Riley and James of course, it just felt like the team had each other's backs and that it was a family. And when you look at pictures of the season 1 A-Troupe, you can see everyone mixing with everybody. But where they've had a couple of marks taken off is their talent. So for season 1, I've given them an 8 out of 10 for their talent. I feel like everyone is obviously very talented in season 1, but when you compare the talent to the other A-Troupes that were significantly older than them, they are not as advanced and they're not as, you know, breathtaking. Then we have versatility, and I've also given them 8 out of 10 for this because people did do different styles to what their main style is. We saw Stephanie and Wes do a duet, so we saw Stephanie do a bit more hip hop, and it was nice to see a versatile team that was willing to try new things. Like Daniel and Wes, I just thought of that as well. Daniel tried to do hip hop, Wes tried to do a bit more technical dancing. It wasn't just literally they stay within their own styles. Because it's versatility, even though they tried those styles, it doesn't mean they're necessarily very strong in them. So that's where the 2 marks have been lost, because it was a team that wasn't advanced in every single style. And then we have a A-Troupe with 27 out of 30, so we're getting up there, we're getting up to like the high ranks now. We have season 2, and I've given them a 9 out of 10 for their chemistry because everybody got on, but there just wasn't as much chemistry as there was in season 1, and I feel that's because they did bring in new A-Troopers after the challenge. So Talia, Amanda, Hunter, I forgot Hunter, sorry Hunter. But yeah, it just didn't feel as much as a family as season 1 did, but everyone did talk to each other and they blended very, very quickly, so I'm going to give them that. I've then also given them a 9 out of 10 for their talent because I feel like everyone was really, really good this season, obviously, because they won nationals. But Emily, for me, let down this A-Troupe. I just didn't feel like she was as strong. She was behind in the dances. She regressed from season 1. I think her peak was actually season 1. So yeah, just because of Emily's ability, that's why they've got a 9 out of 10. But then they have got a 10 out of 10 for their versatility because we saw them do different styles and everyone was pretty strong at doing more than one as well. So even Hunter, we saw him do a contemporary duet with Michelle. We saw Riley and James do a hip hop duet.
Riley did ballet.
Giselle, Talia and Amanda did a jazzy trio. Giselle and Amanda did a jazz duet. So yeah, everyone was very versatile and I'm giving them 10 out of 10. And of course their semi-finals routine at Nationals was a contemporary dance, so we saw everyone do contemporary then, even if they usually do hip hop. So 10 out of 10 for versatility. Well done, season 2.
And next we have season 3, who scores the same as season 2.
So season 3 has 10 out of 10 for every category except their chemistry. I feel like because obviously they did the merge between Elite and A-Troupe, that's where they lost first initial mark. Like, they did have that separation, they didn't really talk to each other. But also, when you look at a picture of the A-Troupe, I can't see everyone mixing. So people like Sierra and Alden, Stephanie and Talia, Max and anyone. There were still a few distances between them, even though we had some strong relationships and friendships. Like Jiley that season were very strong. Talia and Alden, Michelle really got to know Sierra and Stephanie. So there were strengths, but there were also a few weak links there. I feel like this season is where it really started to feel like a winning A-Troupe compared to a family A-Troupe, and that's not necessarily bad in a competitive dance world, but yeah, it's obviously going to lower the chemistry level if they're not all there to be a family and they're all just there because they're the best dancers. So this is why they've got 10 out of 10 for the other areas though. So it's kind of like you win some, you lose some. No, you lose some, you win some. Their talent, I've rated a 10 out of 10 because I think it was such an improvement on the previous seasons. They really brought their best, and I stand by my opinion that I share many times, that the battles that they did at the very beginning of season 3 to get onto the international team were the best time that most people have ever danced. Yeah, I can't knock anybody for their talent in season 3. As well as this, their versatility gets a 10 out of 10 from me because people could do more than one style, and we saw them do more than one style. We saw people do a lot more acro, a lot more hip hop, a lot more contemporary, and because the internationals routines were a fusion of lots and lots of different styles. So we had the small group hip hop, we had jazz, like swing dance, we had the finals routine which was hip hop, we had Jiley's duet, which was contemporary. Oh, Giselle, she did an acro contemporary dance. So yeah, everyone was pretty versatile, and I could see every single person on the team doing some sort of dance that isn't their chosen style, basically.
Which means in first place, with a perfect score of 30 out of 30, we then have season 6's A-Troupe.
Season 6 got a 10 out of 10 score for my chemistry level. I know, haven't had that since season 1, so this is very impressive. I feel like this season it really started to feel like a family again. Pretty much everybody mixed together this season. I really enjoyed seeing the scenes where they were just hanging out a lot more. So the pictogram scene in season 6, the escape room, things like when they were joining together and overthrowing Miss Angela and Lily. You know, it just felt more like the original A-Troupe and why they're all coming together and stuff. It didn't just feel like them turning up for their dance class and then going back home and not talking to each other unless they need to. It felt like they really wanted to be a family and really wanted to actually hang out with each other. And then we have talent.
And I'm actually going to give them 10 out of 10 because I honestly feel like this season was amazing for dancers and their skill level. Everyone impressed me. There were multiple moments where I thought, wow. And I don't feel like any other A-Troupe has been on season 6's overall level, apart from maybe season 3. Then for versatility, I'm giving them 10 out of 10 again because everyone showed that they could do multiple styles.
And we saw them do multiple styles. Like we saw the girls do a hip hop dance, the boys do a hip hop dance. We saw them do contemporary at regionals.
People like Rochelle and Noah even did ballet this season.
Let me know if you agree down below. Give this video a like and make sure you subscribe because I'm now posting Wednesdays and Sundays to get us through quarantine. Woo! And I'll see you either later this week or next week. Bye guys.